because of my own poop! Just like what happened to Niles on that classic episode of Frasier! Brackets. Hyle will add ape noises and poo flinging sound effects. Close brackets.
Smash Brothers! Kongversation. Hyle Russell.
Mitchell Wolfe. Man, yeah, that's never gonna feel super supernatural or anything.
I thought you'd be prepared for it this time. You had a whole week to memorize that opening.
Yeah, you want to take it again?
Smash Brothers!
Kongversation!
See, I forgot it this time.
Well, that's... Yeah. I thought I might step in and try to save you, but I don't know.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We can just forget that we already did it. It started. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a very festive holiday. If your holiday is already over, I know like we're knee deep in the Kwanzaa swamp right now. So if you're still celebrating the Kwanzaas, or if you're really into New Year's, then it's still your time to shine, or your time to shine has not yet shown. But if you were one of the people who celebrated Christmas, or the Hanukkahs, then you've got that in the past now. I hope you had a good one. We're back here to discuss more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because there's just so much to discuss. And let's be frank, Mitchell.
Sure.
Frank. It's your full name. Mitchell
That's what
Frank
it is.
Wolfe. Frank Wolfe, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be discussing everything on this episode. The beauty of the first impressions title in these episodes is that we're not going to be comprehensive, but we're not going to be complete, and we're not going to feel bad about that after the fact. What this is just inaugural thoughts. It's just the introductory back and forth for when a game enters the lexicon of the DK Vine community. So, it's part of the canon now, and we're going to be discussing it for years to come, especially in 2019, because we've got more DLC fighters on the way. So there's going to be more Smash Brothers episodes coming up in Season 7, but we still have more to discuss for the initial first impressions, and that's what we're doing here. So last time around, we discussed a lot of the core game, fighting mechanics, characters, a little bit of classic mode here or there. We touched on spirit battles, but I have a feeling they're going to be coming back around on this one. And we're going to mostly focus this time around on World of Light, the so-called adventure mode in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I just played World of Light for the first time today. I spent about 4 to maybe 4.5, 5 hours with it. Just sat down and I let it rip like a long, luxurious fart attack. And obviously this means I've not completed World of Light, nor did I want to complete World of Light. I want to savor it. I want to take my time with it, but I also wanted to play a significant enough chunk where I can have impressions, where I can have an opinion. And we're going to be getting into spoilers. I have a feeling things are going to be spoiled for me, but we are not going to spoil the whole lasagna, to use Mitchell Frank Wolfe parlance. We're not going to be letting that lasagna crust over. The lasagna is still going to be edible for you after the fact. We're not going to spoil the last bites of lasagna, nor the intestinal discomfort the lasagna will cause later that night. That will remain a mystery under the foil aluminum wrap that keeps the lasagna fresh.
I think this episode's going to be a cool 37 minutes. Just a really nice, jolly 37-minute time.
I don't know if cool would ever apply. I think it's going to be awkward and stumbling, but 37 minutes... No, it's not even going to be 30... The calls won't even take 37 minutes, Mitchell. But it's not going to take 3 hours this time around. 2 hours, 59 minutes, 58 seconds. So you thought I was going to say 59 seconds, but I lowballed you because I realize you want to get out of here at a reasonable time this time around. So I afforded you a whole extra second there. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's good. I was gonna assume 59 because that's the sex number if your back is really fucked up. And
scoliosis.
Yeah, it's just like a really, really not great situation on the whole behind area. So that's my favorite number because of that.
Right.
Yeah, and by the way, you just kind of paved over it, but I do want to circle back to you calling the time period in which Hanukkah takes place a swamp. Because
no, I said Kwanzaa. And I only said that because...
okay, I'm sorry.
Because by this
point... Well, that makes sense then.
We're all weary from the blitz of holidays. I almost said blitzkrieg of holidays. I was like, oh, that's not good terminology either.
Yeah, no, that one circles right back to the Hanukkah connotations.
No, you don't want that. You don't want those two to mix. No, it's a lot to take in, and I'm sure even people who are all about Kwanzaa, by the time they get to Kwanzaa, they're like, oh, when are we going to get out of this holiday swamp? No offense to Kwanzaa, it just basically comes last after Hanukkah and Christmas.
I know so little about the traditions and activities associated with Kwanzaa that for all I know, it could just be like the most relaxing anti-holiday ever.
I hope for their sake it is, because I'm feeling exhausted for them. We're almost out of the December swamp, though, and I feel like Kwanzaa is the candle that lights the way out of that swamp. So
that's my favorite Elton John song.
I didn't mean any offense to the good people who celebrate Kwanzaa. I'm tired. You're tired. We're all fatigued. We all want January to come, a new, fresh, dewy, crisp snow, unurinated in blanket of weighted 20-pound comfort. So that's what I want for the new year. And we're going to get there. The season's almost over. But DK Vine's forum, now working for 2 weeks running. Yes, we've done it. We have proven to be reliable for half a month. You are welcome. Check us out at dkvine.com. Also, check us out on Patreon. So, come February, Mitchell, I don't know if you know this, you probably don't because it's pretty obscure, but come February, we like to roll out new Patreon stickers, 3 new characters. Series 4 will be starting in February. Every patron who just gives us $1 a month will get these stickers, should they give us, their shipping addresses and everything. So if you want in on Series 3 without having to go in on the $10 tier, which is how you get the past generations of stickers, then now is the time to back us on Patreon for at least $1, because you'll get Series 3, and then in February, you'll get Series 4. So these are high-quality stickers designed by one Matt Corna of your favorite Donkey Kong Universe characters, or rather, tributes to the Donkey Kong Universe characters. I'm going to pull a Sakurai here and say they're not actually the characters. This, in my instance, for legal reasons. But, we're going to reveal who those are, but I'm just saying, if you want to start collecting them, this would be the most financially wise time to back us for at least $1 on Patreon. So check that out, dkvine.com/Patreon. Subscribe to us on YouTube while you're thinking about it, and also follow us and like us, or like and follow. I'm not sure what order you do that in, on Facebook, because Facebook broke it up. Like, you can like somebody, but you're not following them, so it's really irritating. Also Twitter. We're on Twitter too. And don't forget, if you want to call into the conversation, call the DK Vine hotline at 1-202-630-VINE. Vine. So 8463 if you can't connect the dots from the letters to the numbers. So that's our due diligence, Mitchell. Mitchell, would you like to plug anything? I'm sorry, I'm being a rude host here. Would you like to plug anything in Mitchell Frank Wolfland on this episode?
I actually I would. I wasn't going to say anything, but thank you for the opportunity. If you are interested in nice savory foods this holiday season. What you can go out and buy are some tortillas from the grocery store, some cheese, onion powder maybe, and
onion powder.
Onion powder is a good one. And the secret little bit here is everything salt. Now that's basically an approximation of the little black seeds and the sesame seeds and garlic, everything that you put on top of an everything bagel. They sell that stuff like a powder or just something you pour in its own containers. And what that is, that put that inside of a quesadilla. That's a good time. That's a good time right there.
Right. If you're playing on
and there's a podcast I do called the Super Jump Podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
That is, I put a lot of work into it, and it comes out every week. And we just did an episode about our personal games of the year with myself and my regular co-host, my co-hosts with an S at the end. We have two now, Wyatt Donegan and James Burns. We all talked about what kind of awards we gave out to games at the end of this 2018 and how we felt about the year in general. So I would recommend you check it out.
Yeah, I would recommend you do that and not eat Mitchell's everything bagel tortilla.
No, do both. They're very good.
If you're planning on kissing anybody on New Year's Eve, that might be repellent. But I'm sure
if she's not into it, you're not into her. That's the rule.
I'm sure the Super Jump Podcast will attract people of both sexes your direction. You'll have to beat them off with some onion powder if you're playing a Super Jump Podcast when the ball drops. It's what I hear. It's on the ground reporting from Times Square. Previous years, of course.
That's you've really nailed
the way
is what I'm saying. You've really nailed the way the public interacts with my podcast and recipes.
The Super Jump Podcast turns people on. It's just basically pheromones in audio form.
Yeah, and apparently everything bagels turn them straight off.
Yeah, stanky bagel tortillas. You don't want that.
They're very good. So World of Light is the adventure mode in this newest Super Smash Brothers video game. And you started playing it today. I want to ask you, was there something intimidating about it?
Oh God,
that was putting you off.
Oh God, yes.
Because for me, it was just like it was the first thing I did.
Yeah, and I think for me, what I wanted out of the Smash Brothers was some cozy time. I wanted that 20-pound blanket out of this Smash Brothers at first, and I wanted that with getting K. Rool, seeing some of these dream matchups that I've always fantasized about if K. Rool were in the game, seeing those play out. Just a slow kind of gradual build up of my experiences with the game. So just basically playing some Smash matches, eventually throwing in some classic mode time in the mix. A spirit battle here or there, but really just kind of taking my time with the game. World of Light seemed like an incredibly foreboding experience that I wanted to put off for a while until I felt better acquainted with the game. Until the game and me were friends, where we could share a two-seater bike and go on a lovely ride together, maybe even working up to the swan boats. So I feel like we're at that point in our relationship where we can listen to the Super Jump Podcast on New Year's Eve and make out a little bit, some heavy petting, if you will. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten there, so I finally popped the question today to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's like, would you like me to play World of Light? And it was consensual, so we engaged in some World of Light time and popped that cherry. And let me just say, we're going to get into our more detailed impressions. You have completely detailed impressions considering you've beaten it, like 30 sometimes now? Excuse me, 59 sometimes now? Because of your back?
The sex number.
The curvy sex number, yeah. I've only played it for not even 5 hours, but I can say from this early point, and it is an early point, I don't know how long it took you to initially beat it, but it took
me 28 hours.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say I've got maybe 20% of the map cleared from the fog right now, and it's like, yeah, this is going to take a while. But I'm so glad I didn't unlock my characters this way, because I would have been very, very frustrated that it's like, what do you mean, me sword fighter? Fuck you, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. No, I can say that World of Light is, if you'll pardon the terminology, if you'll pardon the parlance, World of Light is the tits. I quite enjoy it. It's delightful.
Yeah, I would, if people haven't started playing Super Smash Brothers Ultimate yet, and maybe they just got it for Christmas and they're considering starting it soon, I would recommend that they do go straight into World of Light. I think starting you off with an even smaller roster than the base game starts you off with, being just Kirby, and expanding in a way that is much more controllable, rather than just like the random character drops that you'll get from playing a number of rounds of the multiplayer version of the game, is, I think, more comfortable. I think it's probably the least offensive, the most comfortable, the least pointy way to get into the game. Now, at the same time, I also think that the best way to play World of Light is like an hour a day for a month or two. And not what I did, which is I put aside some time. I said, okay, later I'll do like a bunch of regular just Smash modes and I'll invite people over, and later I'll do classic modes and stuff. Right now is all about World of Light, and I went through it and I had a great time, and that's still not terrible, but I think it is clear to me now that the optimal way to get through World of Light is just treating it like, hey, I have this single player aspect of Smash Brothers that I can go into and progress a little bit some of the time. And if I'm not doing that, I can just complete other aspects of the game, and that is probably the best way to go about playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because by the end of World of Light, you should probably know things from like other parts of the game, just in terms of which character should you be playing as. And right. I feel like World of Light is a great way to have memorable moments unlocking characters. Like Ness exists in a certain spot on the map, and I think that's like kind of memorable. Not for Ness specifically, I just mean in general. So that's cool, but I don't know if it's the best way to actually get acquainted with those characters, because at least what's happened to me is that I've fallen into a rut with just one character for every single spirit battle from now on. I only play as one character in spirit battles, because I know like the most efficient way to beat it, and using any other character would kind of be like just putting myself headfirst into a disadvantaged state, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are its strengths and weaknesses, but on the whole, it's just fantastic that it has a sizable single player focus that is memorable and has parts. And I know that sounds super basic, but like a single player part of the game with parts in it, in like places and sections and levels and just places to go and things to do, is so cool. It's just really nice. I like it a lot.
I like it as well, and I think this is going to be a debate people are going to have for some time, what the best way to approach World of Light is. Should you table it for a while, or should that be the first thing you play? And I think it really will all depend on what you're looking to get out of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate experience, what your personal preferences are. Because honestly, I could see it go either way, and I could see valid points being made in both directions. I'm not regretting the choices I made, but I could definitely see, if things turned out slightly differently, that this is absolutely what I would have done first in a different scenario, in a different lifetime. I do agree that you probably want to limit this to maybe 1 hour sessions, because by the time I was approaching the end of my session today, which was almost 5 hours, I was very fatigued, and I wasn't getting bored with it. That's the wrong term. I was just tired, and I needed to take a break. And
yeah, because it's built really well for not only just short sessions, but if you want to take the Switch out of its dock and play portably for a little bit, I can imagine World of Light lending itself really well to that, because it's just individual little battles that you go through really quickly. And you can just put the game down at any time in between battles, and they're not going to last more than a couple minutes. So it just really lends itself to short play sessions. And I did not respect that lending. I just did like multiple, probably 7-hour play sessions, honestly, in the first couple of days.
Yeah, I'm glad that I tangoed with the base game, the core Smash experience, before I did this, because I fell in love with the game, and then it really just allowed me to kind of take whatever World of Light wanted to present to me at face value without being over analytical. And I've had a great time with it so far, and I'm looking forward to getting back to it. So again, I've only played almost 5 hours. You've played it 59 times over the course of however many days. You've had it now. So let's get into a little bit about whether or not this is broader than just World of Light, but a lot of people are very ecstatic that this game has a single player adventure mode. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but is a single player adventure mode important or essential for the Smash Brothers experience?
Yes.
You okay? Oh well. All right.
I'm gonna come out here and say yes.
So
yeah,
that's the weird thing that the weird vantage point I have with this is that maybe it's playing it after the game's been out for a few weeks, but I was asking myself today, like, this is really great fun, but would the game be worse off if this wasn't even here? And yeah, I mean, it would be. The game would be lacking if it wasn't, but I think the great time I've had with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or Ultimate, if I just want to keep it short, I think Ultimate is a great game standalone, even without World of Light. And it's not necessary because the core game is so fine-tuned. It is such a perfect fine-tuning of the Smash formula that they could have just given us this, and it would have been perfectly understandable not to have a robust adventure mode. Because we didn't have a robust adventure mode in Smash 4. And the game was lacking for it, absolutely. But that game was lacking in many, many other areas as well.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know if it's like the biggest thing. Smash Bros, I think, is a victim of its own doing in that it needs a lot of things now. It needs a very well-polished, interesting, infinitely repeatable multiplayer mode. It needs some sort of collectible. It needs a single player. I think all of these things are necessary at this point. I mean, the standout like argument that's kind of been going around on the internet for why a Smash Brothers game absolutely needs a single player mode is that it's appealing mostly to fans of Mario and Zelda and Donkey Kong and Pokemon and Metroid, and all of these things are single player games. So to appeal to those bases and just say, actually, nothing you like about like the game that this is representing and like taking inspiration from is actually in this game without a single player mode. And I think just getting someone over that initial hump is what's really important, because once they're there, I think they will fall in love with the multiplayer mode of Smash Brothers. It's one of my favorite multiplayer games ever. But that initial grab to your senses, or just like, let's get someone over here. Can you play this without anyone else in the room? And they'd say, well, yeah, I can play it online. And I would say, no, the online is trash. Don't even worry about it. That's a thing you can do, and it's a thing you'll probably do quite a bit, but it will never be optimal. So is there a way to have like a good amount of fun without anyone else in the room? And that's where World of Light... Well, I guess it's where World of Light comes in. I think more than World of Light being important to Ultimate, I think spirits are important to Ultimate. Okay. Just really tying together all of the game's various modes. You're always getting spirits. You're always working on spirits. They make up the bulk of World of Light, and they're also their own thing on top of that outside of the adventure mode. You can use spirits with multiplayer mode. It's just this whole thing that really comes together to give the game a sense of meaning and importance and weight. And that, I think, is necessary and important. And I think that really goes the extra mile to make Ultimate what it is. So yeah, I would say that's how it's important.
Yeah, it's weird because World of Light has only been this ambiguous thing that I've known exist up until today. And so I'm kind of just saying, it's funny. I love Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I didn't even need World of Light or an adventure mode to accomplish that. So it's weird that, oh yeah, there's this really, really robust, enormous mode that I haven't even touched up until now. And it's just kind of almost being like slapped across the face with it. Just like, oh wow, this game is so much more deep than even I thought just a few hours ago. And I've been singing this game's praises since it came out. So wow. Anyway, yeah, it's funny because it's also a different situation than Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where you had the Subspace Emissary, and that's really the only thing people talk about when it comes to Brawl these days. And I don't think that will be the case with Ultimate, but I definitely think it's a game that's firing on all cylinders, and there's leaving no boxes left unchecked except maybe things like where the trophy descriptions and the educational factor came in. That's the only place this game is really lacking compared to past
if
Smashes.
They worked on that and they got online working to like any degree of professional standard, I would say those two things would just really make it undefeatable. I don't know what you would do. I don't know what Sakurai is going to do in the future, to be honest. Like if he's going to do another Smash Brothers game anytime within the next, I guess, decade, I think it would honestly be a decade until the graphics in Ultimate look bad enough that just updating the visuals of the game would be enough of a reason to make an entirely new game rather than just add something to Ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll maybe touch upon that at the end of the episode, like where the hell can Smash Brothers go next? Because this in many ways feels like it should be the end of the road. Like this is the Smash Bros. This is all we need out of Smash Brothers as a base game. This is it. They've done it. Let's not mess with perfection anymore. Let's not pull any threads out of this amazing tapestry. Let's just cherish it and protect it. So anyway,
gotta protect it.
Yep, back to World of Light. So let's talk a little bit about, I guess, the story and all of that. So I don't even know where to begin with this. It's a weird story, but it's also super familiar. It actually reminds me a little bit of Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics, not the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Their recent Secret Wars event.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
It does.
Because basically the story, and the story is super vague. It's a lot of, in true Sakurai style, it's more about giving the players impressions and feelings rather than telling a super concise, literal, linear storyline.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's left up to your imagination, which I think works best for this many franchises, this much lore. But
tone over plot has always been like a direction Nintendo has taken their games, but I think Sakurai hits it harder than anywhere else in the studio, because he'll make up exactly what he needs to make up in order to tell the story in World of Light and Subspace Emissary in a similar way. Like, there's just enough original content in there to make that work, and everything else he uses existing characters for, which I think is great. I love that.
Yeah, because basically everything we know or think we know about concepts like the Master Hands and Crazy Hand and Master Core and Galeem and Taboo and Subspace, and it's all just vague nonsense that we, the players, fill in our own heads. And that's fine. That is fine. I'm glad that Smash lore is kind of super vague, because it allows you, if you care about this stuff, I do, I realize most people don't, but, you know, if you care about it, it allows you to just kind of take it and make out of it in your own head what you will to best suit your favorite franchises that are featured in Smash Brothers. So, yeah, this is no different than anything they've done before. But the basic story is that in the Master Hand realm, whatever you want to call it, there is this entity called Galeem, right? And Galeem has essentially destroyed the fucking multiverse and condensed everything into one realm. So it's created a kind of a patchwork realm of little bits of surviving video game universes.
Well, hang on. I'm not sure Galeem did that.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think that's just kind of how that area is in Smash Universe.
Well, at the beginning of the World of Light, it said that it like reduced it all into one realm. So I was taking it to mean like a Marvel Battle World situation from Secret Wars, where the remnants of the multiverse were all kind of created into this patchwork reality.
I guess that is definitely the case. What I was saying is, I'm not sure if that was Galeem or if that was just something that pre-existed all of this that kind of explains why things are together. I guess it doesn't really matter, because the start of the game starts in media res. You're led to believe there was probably a good amount of fights with all the Nintendo characters up to this point, where they met Galeem for the first time, and then he kind of turned the tables on them.
So yeah, my interpretation, again, this is all made up nonsense in my own head, because this is what the game basically forces you to do. But my impression was they'd met up for another Smash whatever tournament, Smash Battles, whatever, and then Galeem interjected in it, and basically this storyline happened. So that suits me, because I was already playing the game before I started World of Light. You could also interpret it to be this is the beginning of the story. for this Smash Brothers. It doesn't really matter, especially since a lot of gamers won't even view this as canon to their own native series. So whatever. But I like that there is this very, very kind of dark opening where all of reality is destroyed. Everybody in the multiverse dies, and everybody kind of vaguely connected to the surviving Smash fighters get turned into ghost spirits. They lose their bodies, but they're hanging around as ghosts, enslaved by Galeem, as are the Smash fighters, sans Kirby, who are being held captive. And so, yeah, I didn't really understand what the hell this story was until I played it this time around. The trailer that they played in the last Smash Direct was totally unhelpful without the very, very educational little captions provided at the beginning of World of Light in the game. So, basically...
there was a line in there, Hyle. I don't know if you caught it, but there was a line in there that basically said the individuals who stood up to Galeem and tried to fight them were turned into puppets. Everyone else was turned into spirits, and then Galeem put those spirits in the puppets. So that would mean, why isn't Waluigi playable? Why isn't Dixie Kong playable? They were cowards. They didn't stand up to Galeem. They didn't try to fight him.
To be fair,
if you wanted to be playable in Smash Bros., you should have tried to fight him.
To be fair, Mitchell, my interpretation is that they were not present because they were not invited to Smash to begin with. The people who stood up to Galeem are right there on the fucking front lines because they were invited to Smash Brothers. Everybody else, they weren't really invited to the party, so it's
I wonder
easy
what
to be
the implication with the 6 DLC characters will be then. Because they will be playable. Maybe they were... I don't know. Maybe they were trying to fight Galeem, but from a distance. So they weren't, like, part of it.
Maybe their plane was just delayed, and I don't know. They were sitting at the airport bar. And I don't know if they're going to massage those characters into World of Light anywhere, or if it's just going to be this kind of separate thing as, oh yeah, you can play as them, but they're not really part of this mode. That would be unfortunate, but I don't know how you can really do that, especially for people who've already completed World of Light by the time they all come out, which is going to be most people who got the game day one or the first month or whatever. Yeah, that's a good question, and I haven't really... I've thought about it, but I haven't really figured out what the solution would be. But anyway, so, you know, Sakurai and Once Upon a Time Iwata always like to say these characters were not the actual Nintendo characters or video game all-star characters, but they were just trophies brought to life.
Right.
And that's always kind of been a mixed message, because they've said that, but then there's been other things that kind of
I disagree.
Otherwise.
We've talked about this multiple times, and I gotta say, every time we bring it up on the show, I disagree a lot.
You disagree with them and not me. Yes, I know.
No, the other one. The other.
But Mitchell, what I'm saying is this one, it kind of lets everybody have their cake and eat it too, because the characters most of the characters you fight in World of Light are trophies, but we see them created from the core original characters, and then the spirits of these other characters then inhabit these trophies brought to life. So it's a way to have both concepts at play, and you can believe whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care. But
I mean, I'm just going by the rules. If it's vague in the game and specified by Word of God, you use the Word of God to direct your interpretation of the vague in-game lore.
Okay, but
that's the rules, Hyle. That's your thing.
No. But also, World of God can only take you so far if the game is presenting you with evidence that contradicts World of God and Word of God. And in World of Light, we've got these characters being used as the basis for trophies. So in my opinion, this is saying that this is the real Mario, and yeah, you got these trophies then created in Mario's essence, but that's the real Mario that you eventually free and get to play as, and who joins your party. I don't know. I'm saying like it leaves you enough wiggle room that you can interpret this.
They show in a cinematic at the beginning of World of Light a Mario trophy being created by pouring whatever on another Mario trophy. So that Mario trophy is Mario. He's a trophy in the cinematic.
No, they poured molten hot plastic over the real Mario, but he's fine. He's fine, Mitchell.
He's fine because he's a... Why would he be
Italian,
fine?
and they're made of tough stuff.
He's Italian.
They have to deal with the mafia and a lot of cheese, dairy, and acidic tomato sauce in their food. They're a tough people, Mitchell. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Anyway, so this basically is the crux of World of Light. Is you got all these characters, and then you've got all of these other characters who aren't Smash Brothers combatants, but they get to kind of be involved in this, even if they are just repurposed stock art of the characters from going back several decades. It's a very, very clever way of having a shit ton of lore with minimal... I say minimal work, and that's not true, because they put a lot of work into this, but there's less work than you would think would be involved with something like this. And they found a nice workaround to be able to have a very, very robust adventure mode without having to, say, create a hell of a ton of cinematics like in Subspace Emissary.
Yeah, I really like how you can kind of tell how this all came about. Apparently they had some Japanese professional Smash players weigh in on the development side of things, maybe like years ago, early on, in order to work on balance and also in order to work on AI behavior. Because if you look at the AI in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's better than it's ever been. It's more human-esque than it's ever been. And apparently that has a lot to do with players like Amza, who was asked by Nintendo to submit like a professional perspective to this AI and all this stuff. So they started with like a really good AI, and then they wanted to show it off, and they said, okay, what if we got people to play AI opponents more often by giving them like special battles based on other characters? And then from that came spirit battles, and then from that came spirits, and then from that came World of Light, and like it just seems supernatural. And not supernatural, just very natural is what I meant.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems
an
haunted.
Extension.
I guess it does, but...
Yeah. Just an extension of having a very basic new addition to the game that they never even talked about in any of the directs. They never said in the direct, in any of the three like big directs for this game, they never said, yeah, AI is really good now. It was never a marketing point, but it is a huge part of what drove the design of this game, looking back. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that World of Light gives you so many good battles to go through, because if the AI wasn't good, if it was like Smash 4 or earlier AI, and you needed to do all of these battles, it would be a lot more boring. It would not be nearly as good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because when you're initially introduced to the concept of spirit battles, at least for me, I was initially just kind of not turned off, but I was like, this is a lot to take in. All of this shit about spirit combinations, and you've got the primary spirit, and then you've got the supporting spirits, and then you can augment abilities, and I'm just like, oh, this is just so much. Oh God, I don't want to deal with this. My brain, my poor brain, can't handle this. I'm an old man, Mitchell. Like I can't handle all this knowledge that's required to do this. World of Light is a very, very good way of walking you through that. And now I feel like I've got a good handle on it. And it's like, okay, yeah, no. I was being a silly, grumpy, old bastard before. Now I'm like a newborn, very,
bastard.
very slimy baby.
A newborn bastard that is also still grumpy.
Yeah, no, but I'm very slimy. I've still got the afterbirth all over me. Still got the umbilical cord weirding people out who stumble in. Yeah, and I feel like I've got a fresh perspective on this, and I can take in all of this knowledge now. Sure, absolutely. What, this spirit makes the sticky floors not sticky for me? I got that. I understand how that works. All right.
So, Hyle, let me know, floors. Where are you exactly?
I don't
in
know.
Physical space. Where are you on the map right now? What's the last thing you did?
I've been bouncing back and forth trying to clear like both ends of the map, if that makes any sense. So
like the top and bottom, or
top, yeah, because I didn't want to get too far to the top, so I'm like doing both sides, if that's any.
Sure, yeah,
because I assume you can beat World of Light without clearing the entire map. Am I wrong there?
Oh, you can, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was going for a 100%. So
as am I. So
yeah, if you weren't, it might take you maybe closer to 15 hours. I don't know, but yeah, getting that 100% is not so difficult. It like I knew I wanted to do that, but I also knew that if I paid attention to that too much, I would not have an optimal time. So what I did was just I went as far in a direction that I kind of felt like I wanted to go, and then I went back to the beginning, and then I just picked a different direction and went, and then I did that like 3 or 4 times, and then I kind of just circled through everything I didn't go through yet, and that seemed like the best way to do it for me, at least. And then once I did all of that, you see Galeem at the top of the map the whole time. And then I fought Galeem, and then other stuff happened.
Well, all right then. I look forward to other stuff happening to me. But yeah, I'm trying to like not get too close to Galeem, I guess. I'm trying to like, do as much beneath Galeem as possible. So and I'm having a good time with it. Like it's nothing's felt like a chore. I've only really got hung up on a couple of battles where, for whatever reason, I'm just incapable of really like coming up with a strategy to defeat the particular spirit. It's the one weirdly, the one I had trouble with. I don't know if this is weird, but this was just me. The one I had the most trouble with today was the spirit battle with the lady from the Fatal Frame series, who's an assist trophy in the game.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a irritating battle. I think she's possessed Zelda or a Zelda trophy, and it was just took a while, especially since I have not unlocked any Donkey Kong characters in World of Light yet, so I'm forced to use idiots like Mario, just idiots. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can get the handle of this, but I'm not gonna feel super familiar or comfortable with, like, say, Mario's moveset. I'm getting better with Mario as a result, but I still wish I had Donkey Kong or K. Rool. But I'll get there, and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, this game definitely made me feel much more capable with Donkey Kong and Mario, because those were two of the first-ish World of Light characters I unlocked. And I would not have played much of those two in other circumstances, so I appreciate that. I like any aspect of the game that makes me better at the game. I think that's really cool.
Oh, me too. That's what I've loved about any Smash Brothers game, and it's fun being forced out of my comfort zone, being forced to play with a character like Mario. Because I loved things like break the trophies in the first couple Smash Brothers games, because I thought that was just a very clever way of really getting you familiar and comfortable with a character's movesets. This is a bit different than that, obviously, but I'm actually coming up with different strategies with Mario. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I can do that with Mario. All right. That's a good way to tackle this particular challenge. And then, of course, the spirits that you use augment your abilities, and then you've got other things like the skill tree that you can then further augment your party's abilities. So, all in all, it's a lot of strategy that I'm enjoying sinking my teeth into. But yeah, the only like I almost said trophy. The only spirit that I've really enjoyed unlocking thus far was a couple actually. Kid from Mario Golf.
Yeah,
love
that's a good one.
Kid there. And Panther Caruso. Love having Panther. Yeah, the spirit I've been using the most are like Eevee, because one of the first spirits you get, and just a good all around spirit. And so Eevee and couple of others, but yeah, it's surprising how you grow attached to certain spirits who are not even part of the series you like. And it would be a really great way to learn and become fans of some characters if only they had a bit more biographical information next to their name. But
yeah, I think that's definitely true.
That I keep coming back to that one little nitpick, that one little complaint. But
you don't even need like a blurb like you had in previous Smash games. You could have just like a one phrase description, like Eevee, the evolution Pokemon. Just give it like a thing. Just something to be sticky about. Something that'll keep your brain a little bit on it.
Because some of these characters are pretty damn obscure. And that makes them fun because it's like, oh, holy shit, Kid from Mario Golf is now in my spirit party. That's cool. I've got Kid's ghost hanging out with me. That makes me feel strangely at ease. Because World of Light is kind of scary, Mitchell. It's kind of scary because occasionally when you clear the clouds, then stuff happens. Like Master Hand comes down and fucks with you, or
he just gives you a right spook.
He does, and then you got what's his name, Galeem up there, up on his ivory tower, and Galeem's like, "I'm gonna shoot this fireball down." What does that mean? Well, I don't know, but it keeps you on your toes, and I think having so much of the map under clouds, you're like, well, what's coming next? This is kind of creepy a little bit, which I like. I like that. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to be scared. It's like go and see one of them Chucky movies. You're gonna get scared by the dolls.
I had not previously considered the horror aspect of World of Light, but you got a point.
That's what they are, because they're spirits possessing toys, right? Just like Chucky.
Yeah, one of the things that was in the original trailer for World of Light that had become my favorite aspect of World of Light is that, like in the trailer, there was the character going down, and then they get to a beachfront, and then they pull out a Lapras spirit, and then they just go down, and that you can use the Lapras to surf to places across the ocean, and there's stuff like that all over World of Light, and I was afraid at first of it just being like, oh, okay, well, I need to go to this part of the map to get the Lapras, otherwise I can't progress here, and it's just kind of like this linear gatekeeping. But it's not really like that, because you can use a myriad of different spirits for any one task. Like there was a task where I needed something to be destroyed. I could use any number of, like, I had 3 or 4 different spirits that could perform some sort of bombing action on the World of Light board. And
really glad Ted Kaczynski is a spirit. He's really kind of handy.
Yeah, no, that's been really cool. You know, I was always saying during speculation that, like, I don't know if they'll go for the Unabomber, but everyone was like, dude, they're putting everyone from Smash in. You got to open your horizons. And, I was wrong.
I mean, when you think about iconic artwork from the 90s, that sketch of him in the hood and the sunglasses, that's right up there with any of the Pokemon. So I'm really glad to have that as a sparkly effect. Like, I've got the Unabomber's ghost here. Watch out, universities and airports.
Just Andre asks in the chat, does not having unlocked any Donkey Kong characters include spirits?
Yes, I have not unlocked any Donkey Kong spirits yet.
All right. Yeah, you'll get some soon. There's a very surprising number of them.
I had a feeling when I cut off the game that I was like, I'm sure there's a Donkey Kong something right around the corner.
Yeah, that's what keeps it going. Like, my favorite thing's going to be next, I'm sure of it.
and then I settled. One of the last things I did was get Panther Caruso's spirit. I did a few more battles after that, but it's like, all right, well, that's Donkey Kong Universe. That's part of the Dinosaur Planet trilogy, as DK Vine calls it. So that's going to be enough for now. That's fine. I've also got Kid, who is a Mario character, but the Mario Golf, the two RPG games for the Game Boy Color and Advance are beloved by DK Vine. So Kid is kind of honorary, and was happy to have him. So but that's the fun thing about World of Light is, as much as I want to unlock, say, Donkey Kong as a fighter, or I want to get some spirits in a mix, I'm not really missing them, or I'm not really having a bad time because I haven't yet. I'm really enjoying it. And I think that shows how engaging the actual gameplay is, that I'm not just in it for my own lore. I'm not in it to have my own fandom wanked. I'm just having a good time with the game they've given me. And I think that's the mark of quality when it comes to Smash Brothers.
I think that's true. How do you feel about World of Light not having regular cutscenes? Regular as in scheduled, not normal cutscenes, compared to Subspace Emissary?
Subspace Emissary, that was the highlight of Brawl. Those cutscenes were the highlight of Brawl. Hell, the Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong fighting off the Koopa Troop from stealing the Banana Horde cutscene was maybe the highlight of the first several years of the buyout era. I mean, that was awesome, but
that was cool, man.
I know that they took a lot of work. I know that ultimately Subspace Emissary disappointed people in a lot of ways. I think the actual experience of World of Light is a lot more robust because they didn't have to waste their time creating stuff like that. And part of the fun of World of Light, as much shit as I give the concept of spirits just being repurposed artwork, tonally different from one another, as much shit as I give that, World of Light works with the power of imagination. You basically have to bring into it this willingness to just go with it and get in the spirit of things, no pun intended, and just imagine that, yeah, okay, sure, this is this character is Tingle from off of the Legend of Zelda series. This is Tingle Spirit.
You're totally right. There's a vibe there that is not dissimilar from playing Dungeons and Dragons, where you have a lot of symbols and just word of mouth from a dungeon master, or maybe if you're playing on a tabletop, you can have like figurines. You kind of just have to imagine that something represents something that it isn't. And that can be really fun if you can get into it, and if you can't, I know there's a lot of people out there that just I can't see the fun in that, and that's fine. But that it does mean they are missing out on a thing that does come across in spirit battles in a way that feeling doesn't exist too often in video games, especially nowadays that we're not really dealing with pixel art so often anymore. If you want to represent something, you can often just put it in the game. You can put, if you want to show a big mountain, just show a big mountain, make one. Right. And now you got to imagine a little bit, which is it's something I think a lot of gamers are probably not super used to seeing in a big AAA video game. They're
not. Yeah, it's fun for me because I have to admit, that part of my brain was in overdrive playing World of Light today. Like whenever I would like freeze spirit, like let's go back to Kid. I'm really hung up on Kid from off of Mario Golf right now.
Yeah, I can tell.
Well, Kid is one of my favorite characters because you know what happened to Kid, right? So he's essentially one of the protagonists of Mario Golf for Game Boy Color, and he wins the championship or whatever, the golf crown, whatever you call it. And then in the follow-up game, Mario Golf Advance Tour, he suffered a career-ending injury, and he's just a burnt-out shell of himself. And you meet him, and he like, I don't know. I love how stupidly dark it is.
That's pretty DKU.
Yeah.
That's pretty right up the DKU's alley.
Yeah, I love the Kid's there, except now Kid, his body has been disintegrated and he's a ghost. And I obviously, this all will be reversed Avengers Endgame style. Oh, spoilers, I'm so sorry. No, of course I mean Peter Parker and Doctor Strange and Black Panther are forever dead. What am I thinking? It's cool, but I imagine I unlocked Kid, and I imagined his ghost and Mario then had a conversation with each other. It's like, but that's all just in your head. Obviously, the game will not show that. But if you can get into that spirit, and if you can really get into the lore that the game presents and the lore that you bring in with it from your knowledge of all these series, then it's a lot of fun. And that fan service really does come through, even if it's only in your brain. So, do I miss the cinematics? Yeah, but I would argue that potentially what World of Light gives you can be a lot more powerful and resonant only if you let it. So there's more opportunity here for dream meetings and scenarios and team ups and interactions that Subspace Emissary never gave you. Yeah, it was really cool having Diddy and Fox team up on Subspace Emissary, but World of Light is giving you a lot more of that, even if it doesn't actually portray it in a cinematic on screen.
Yeah, I definitely prefer World of Light's approach, but I still think an optimal thing for me in terms of getting a story out of a Smash Bros. Game would be something in the middle, or at least closer to Subspace Emissary than what World of Light is. Because I remember the excuse, I don't know if it's that strong enough. I don't know if it's strong enough to call it an excuse, but what was said during the development of Smash 4 was that, yeah, we didn't do a Subspace Emissary thing this time because we decided to, instead of having just a bunch of cutscenes that would be leaked online in a game that would be incredibly expensive to make, we wanted to give out those cutscenes as marketing and use them to our own advantage. So there were 15 newcomers in the base roster for Smash 4, not counting Lucina and Dark Pit, and all 15 of them got a fully animated CG trailer, which is bonkers in retrospect. That's 15 things. That it's just each for a character, where smaller games are terrified of spending anywhere near the money to make one of those for their entire game. Yeah. Like that marketing budget is off the chain. So I understand, like, yeah, okay, you put them into character trailers, but this time there were only 6 newcomers, and 2 of them, like the Splatoon one, the Inkling one, and the Isabelle one, weren't so like involved. So I was hoping that they would, because they only did 4 real ones and then 2 smaller ones, they would push that effort into their adventure mode a little bit more than they did. Again, I don't want to spoil anything for you. There are rather further cutscenes in World of Light that you have not seen. I don't want to say what they are, but I will say that, like, don't expect anything bigger than what you've already seen, I guess.
I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not like going to this really hoping I'm going to see some amazing cutscenes. I'm quite honestly enjoying how quaint it is.
The intro is like for sure the biggest part of the game. Is what I'm saying.
And I assumed it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think Smash Brothers really excels when it lets your imagination fill in the gaps. And maybe that's a cop out. Maybe that's me just already enamored with this game, making excuses for it. Sure, it could be, but I'm at the stage where I really don't care because I love this game. I love most everything about this game. So, I'm fully on board with whatever it's doing at this point. It really couldn't do much to sour me on it at this point. So, even if the DLC, the 4 remaining DLC fighters are characters I absolutely don't care about or know or have any interest in, we're past the point where I would care. I love Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I still think it might be my favorite Smash Brothers game of all time. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine, Mitchell. It's fine.
Now,
all right. So,
I have a question for you, Hyle.
Yeah.
Do you think Dixie is going to come up in these calls again?
Oh God, absolutely she is. She has.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So here's the deal. We've got more calls this episode than we had last episode, but judging from the phone numbers, there are from fewer callers. So people just called in continually. So we'll start with the first call, this person only called in once, if these call logs are accurate. So they got their point done in one. So we'll start small and we'll gradually expand. Here we go. The first call of the episode.
Hey, it's Karate Joe. So I heard you talking about Smash Brothers again. No surprise. My two things is that I want to, first of all, spur a discussion about the Donkey Kong music, since it wasn't covered in the last episode. I'm sure you're probably going to talk about it, though. So, this is probably the best selection of Donkey Kong music and remixes we've ever gotten. Some surprise choices include Ice Cave Chant, which appeared in one level, Snaky Shanty getting a full remix, which appeared in 1.5 levels in, World 3 of Donkey Kong Country 2, so that's a pretty cool deep cut. And some excellent K-Rool remixes. And the bonus and map theme, which was already sort of in Brawl, and they cut it and then they remixed it, and it's a fantastic remix. The other thing is that I'm sure you're going to talk about the unused files for rare spirits in Smash Ultimate. So, I have my own perspective on this, and as an avid Rhythm Heaven fan, I'd like to warn you not to get too excited about unused content in a Super Smash Bros. Game. So in Smash 4, there was an unused character icon for a Rhythm Heaven series representative. And in Smash 4 DLC, that never happened. And in Smash Ultimate, that still has not happened, with no real sign of it happening for DLC. So, I'd just like to say, don't treat it as a solid confirmation just yet. I know it's a different situation because it's not a character icon, so it's not a cut character. And it's also it's this brand new thing, it's just spirits, so it's hard to predict, but, still, keep your expectations in check, saying that from experience. And I guess the same thing sort of happened with Dixie Kong and Brawl, who hasn't happened. Okay, sorry to mention Dixie Kong again in the call. I won't go further on that line of thought. Yeah. So, that's my thing. Music, and, just don't try to think too hard about those spirits. Maybe it'll be a cool surprise if we forget about them. See ya.
I can't be told to not think about him.
In the live stream chat, Dustin said that it's Karate Joe calling in to complain that he isn't in Smash. Essentially, that's what we got there. Thank you for the call, Karate Joe. Well, I want to table the discussion about those files that have been found at the end. We're gonna talk about that, Mitchell. But
that music, though.
The music, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Good
obviously,
call.
I wish
we did pave over that, and we didn't mean to. I guess
we didn't mean to.
Yeah.
For some reason, music is always something I forget to bring up. I think it's because I have no musical ability, so I feel like it's not within my realm to talk about unless it's just a weird Beatles joke that's off-putting to most people under 50. So, yeah, I always forget to talk about it, but it's definitely something I notice, and obviously I appreciate. And I wish there were more Donkey Kong songs in the game, but I'm not displeased with what we got this time around. I think there is a good mix. There's some eclectic choices, which I appreciate. And I have to say, I love unlocking more music in this game, especially when I go to the shop and there's just that DK logo with the music. And I'm like, oh, sweet, I can buy a new Donkey Kong song. Done. Not even going to think about that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, having Snakey Chanty in there is great because it's obviously near and dear to the Kongversation's heart. But that Crocodile Cacophony remix is one of my favorite songs ever in Smash Brothers. Just,
I was going to say the same thing about
work.
Gangplank Galleon remix.
Yeah.
Like, we've had a number of months to get used to it because it was in the trailer for K. Rool. But still, man, that is an amazing song.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And I like having, you know, the option of just, you know, you can pick whatever franchise music you want. Like, I've never really, you know, thought about like, playing the DK arcade stage and having Sticker Bush Symphony playing, but it's just this weird kind of tonal dissonance. There's this weird sort of out of body experience that it's fun messing around with it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with what we got. It for the first time, it feels like we haven't been neglected and stuck with mostly just jungle remixes, like the same song again and again and again and again. We have a healthy mix, especially due to K. Rool's inclusion. I think we got a lot more Donkey Kong music that has been criminally overlooked over the years. So I'm happy with it.
I think something that is very neat about the music in this game, not just the Donkey Kong music, but in general, is that much like everything else in this game, really. Well, okay, maybe I need to start with Smash 4, because with Smash 4, everything that was added in terms of a new stage, or a new character, or new songs, it kind of just felt to me like, oh, you're just like putting any of your favorite stuff in, which is fine. I mean, that's definitely an approach to game design. But like with Smash 4, it's just all the content that was new. It was just what's the thing we want to do right now, and we'll put it in. So with Smash Ultimate, all of the new stuff, all of the new music, the new remixes, the new characters, even the new stages, even though there's only 4 new stages, the new items, the spirits, they all seem like they're in there to complement some other part of the game. Like, now that we have this bigger emphasis on the DK series, there's more stuff in Donkey Kong's like universe, not to be confused with the Donkey Kong universe. There's more stuff like in that series in Smash now, so you need more songs. And like, there are parts of World of Light where you'll go to a new character and you'll say, well, this character totally just would make sense with this song. And then you'll hear it, and then you'll say, oh, yeah, of course! Especially, it's almost upsetting how much how many new Mega Man remixes there are. I think Mega Man got the most new songs in Smash Ultimate. I don't know, maybe I'll have to do a recount there. But there are so many Robot Masters that just have their own song in a spirit battle. There's so many Robot Master spirit battles, and they all just you don't need to guess what song it's going to be. Oh, it's a Lekman? It's probably going to be a Lekman song. Don't worry about it. It's a new remix. And I think that kind of goes along with like why Incineroar over Rowlet or another Pokemon that might be more popular. It's just because there's more, you can do more with it in Smash Brothers Ultimate than just picking your favorite character or the most important character or your favorite song or the most important song. Just pick the ones that you need to do the most with. And that seems to apply to Ultimate in a lot of different aspects, and I really like that.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like everything in this game had thought and care behind it. And it felt like Smash 4 was mostly just Sakurai's id out of control. And it was just him giving him and his buddies what he wanted, what they wanted. and this just feels like it's giving the fans, all of the fans, as many of the fans as possible, what they want. And not just what they want, but what they need. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just, again, maybe it's because I have been pleasured in the 59 position so much thanks to K. Rool, but I really feel like this is the first time ever in Smash Brothers that Donkey Kong has not been overlooked.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. There are so few newcomers in this game, and still we won. we did a good job here. we got what we needed out of the game, and all of the other newcomers, with just this Incineroar being kind of this weird spot, but at least the other four outside of K. Rool were just perfect. They were just the correct choices. I feel they were the right things to do.
Well, and I can even see Incineroar, and maybe not as a Pokemon diehard aficionado like you. I can say, well, Incineroar, I can see why they put him in, because he does add something new to the game. It's maybe not the obvious choice for a new Pokemon. But
World of Light got me so much more on board with Incineroar's inclusion than I would have been before. Mm-hmm. Just what they're able to do, what they're able to represent with a fight against Incineroar, just can't be done with anything else in the game. And I think that's a good sale, especially when it's really the only character on the roster like that. There's not too many characters or newcoming characters in this one that are just, we kind of just had this fun idea for a fighter, even though the character isn't so important. Like Rosalina from the last game.
And again, it felt like the characters of the last game, some of them were absolutely necessary, but some of them, it just felt like they were adding them just to add them. I don't know. It's like, oh yeah, Rosalina. Okay, yeah, it's her turn. Oh yeah, it's time to advertise this new Fire Emblem game. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. It feels like everything here is vital, and this is what Smash Brothers needed. This is what they needed right here. And it felt like Smash 4 was just this gluttonous mess of a game. And there was good and there was bad. But it feels like Smash Ultimate had a plan from the start. And it's been very measured in what it's set out to do. And it's excelled at all of that as a result. And there's been very few choices that have just left you scratching your head wondering what the hell is going on, and if there's just this lack of quality control, and it's clearly not the case anymore.
Call 2?
Yeah, Call 2. Call 2, which will be part 1 of, I believe, 3 calls. So maybe more. Actually, it might be 4 calls. Let's just dive into them. Here we go.
What's going on, Hyle? And I'm sorry, dog. I forgot your name from the last episode.
It's okay, man.
It's Smash. Yo. Alright, so listen. Regarding the last episode, I didn't want to sound ungrateful. I'm very grateful for. No, first I want to get this off my chest. Yeah, I didn't want to sound ungrateful about Smash. I really just wanted to talk about Dixie right quick. Like, listen, when K. Rool got announced, I jacked off 9 times. I filled 9 condoms, right? One for each letter in his name without going into the K part. But, I was hyped. I was fucking hyped. But yeah, but let me expand on that. What I do want to say right quick is alright, so what I like most about Smash is I do like that this time the characters felt more different then last. And I'm going to talk about my mains. I think the best thing that I felt with DK between Brawl and Smash 4 was when DK's his handspin move, the upbeat, when he did that shit at an angle as opposed to just when he did it back in Brawl when he just stayed horizontal. He actually went a little vertical. He did it on an axis. I thought that was fire because now it improved his character. So, and when I picked up, and, you know, now he's like an agile, heavy dude. He was always like that, but now he's like really agile compared to K. Rool, who, when I picked up K. Rool, I felt his heft. I felt that dude's weight, which I thought was beautiful. A tear came in my eye, like, I was like, he's representing all the big boys out there. He's representing all the big boys. And the fact that Sakurai and his crew could actually get the heft of a character down so much like that, because I felt some lag. When I jump with DK, it's different, but when I jump with K. Rool, I feel like I didn't get off the ground. So there's that, and then especially compared to, like, I just unlocked Pichu, and to feel how light she is I actually love that dynamic, how they got characters like that. They're white. And you know, World of Light, I love it because I didn't want like something like Subspace, but I did want something like Subspace. I wanted something like Smash Run, but I think World of Light is just as good. It's like it combines Smash Run, Smash Tour, and Subspace. I think it combines the three and improves on that. But it also doesn't make it as boring. So, like, as boring as Subspace.
That's a good way to end it.
That's the end of the call. Yeah. He's got more to say, obviously, but
should we take it one at a time or just dive into the next one?
I say we dive. I mean, would you have anything you specifically want to address here, or is this just?
Yeah, I guess I didn't want. I want to say that I didn't want to make people feel bad about complaining about Dixie Kong. I love Dixie Kong. I also want her in the game, and I feel that maybe in the last episode I was a little aggro about it. I think it's just the idea that we as a community that have very specific tastes, while still not really being niche. Like Donkey Kong's not a niche franchise. We've lost so often, especially with Smash Bros. We've kind of just relegated ourselves to losing so often that we don't know what it feels like when we win. So we won this time, and a lot of people are just immediately, wow, I can't believe they got Dixie. Like, no, you're on autopilot right now. Don't just jump there. We're good. So yeah.
Well, if they were on autopilot, they would have wanted Funky. So
sure,
but I think you're right there, and I think we went into it enough on the last episode that we don't need to relitigate so much of this. But as we said there, I think ultimately, yes, Dixie deserves to be in Smash Brothers. I'm not disagreeing with anyone who feels that way. You have an absolute right to feel that way because you're correct. But ultimately, it means more for the Donkey Kong series to have K. Rool in Smash Brothers. It's more beneficial to that character. It then feeds back and helps the main Donkey Kong series, which will help Dixie Kong, who was in no danger of ever going away again. So because of all of that, that will just then boost Dixie's own profile in a way that just having Dixie in Smash would not, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it would have been great to also get Dixie. I'm not going to be greedy though, and I'm perfectly happy. Out of the, let's say, 4 possibilities: 1, no new Donkey Kong characters; 2, Dixie in Smash but no K. Rool; 3, K. Rool in Smash but no Dixie; or Dixie and K. Rool both in Smash. I think we got the next 2 best option, and that's fine.
We got the second best of those 4 things.
Yeah. So it's let's not get greedy, people. We had a huge win, and a win that I didn't think was possible. So
they were also talking about how they just appreciate how each character has grown since previous games into Smash Ultimate. I totally agree. I totally agree. The biggest glow up of the whole roster is my new favorite character, Pokemon Trainer. Unplayable in Brawl, very extremely playable in Ultimate. And Mario's better. Marth is better for some reason. Marth didn't need to be better. He was pretty good. But he is, and Donkey Kong's better. The whole thing, the whole roster just kind of feels a little bit stronger, a little bit more thought through. The only character in the whole roster I found so far that doesn't feel that way is Bowser Jr. And you know what? It's fine. I wish he was better, but yeah. That's the only character I found that is not better.
I have to admit, because of the holidays, the Christmases and what have you, and Boxing Days, I have not unlocked Diddy Kong yet. And I've heard things. I've heard tales told high and low of how Diddy has been ruined with this game. And I don't know whether to believe them or not, but...
So what I've heard about Diddy Kong, and we don't need to get too far into this before going to the second part of this call.
Right.
What I've heard about Diddy Kong is that he himself hasn't been changed so much, but there are changes in the mechanics of item throwing. The mechanics of the act of item throwing and item dropping, that just the way they've changed kind of indirectly nerfs Diddy Kong, because the optimal way to play in a tournament setting with Diddy Kong is by really abusing bananas and just throwing them everywhere and making sure that you trip up your opponent at any possible opportunity, and forcing them to either shield or jump out of the way by throwing one in their direction. So any nerf to items and getting an item out of your hands in the way that you want it to be thrown does affect Diddy Kong. But if you don't play Diddy Kong that way so much, it's fine. So
it's funny that you say that, though, because it sounds to me that Smash here, the man Smash, who has called in 4 times, seems to me Smash has abused his own banana over the thought of K. Rool. So I don't know about the legalities of that in a tournament setting, but if I were him, I would not try it.
I agree. You want to get into the second part of the call?
Yes, the second part of the call, of the 4-part call. And maybe he's already tried it in a tournament setting, and this is his one phone call from prison. Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, that cutoff point. Smash again. You just but just real quick, I'm gonna try to abridge this. Yeah, it's just with Water Light, it's just the battles don't get annoying depending on the difficulty. I just, for the most part, like one of my favorite battles I fought was a sticker Flygon. It was just Green Ridley on a Zelda stage. I forgot which was the desert one, a battlefield, and the only thing was that the stage would shake. It would just have earthquake. And I'm like, that little touch that you got Green Ridley to represent Flygon, and the stage would just earthquake every 5 seconds or so, even though Flygon is more so the desert spirit, so it would do sandstorms. But it's still that little, which I had to fight Ridley like 80 times, even with all the stickers I had plus Lucario. It was just a nice touch that they have. I think that that's the kind of stuff that Sakurai and his crew got right. That it's not that, even though there's billions of battles, all these battles, no one battle feels the same, even with the same aesthetic. Whether these two got Toxic Floor, these two got Earthquake, these two got Flames, it doesn't matter. They don't feel the same. I think that's the best part about it. But listen, man, this music, all these I ain't got time for all these stages. And I don't have a carrying case for my Switch yet, so I'm not gonna go through all the songs. I'm just gonna let them play randomly with all the stages. Sheesh. But real quick, before I wrap this up, that banana gun, I think we could see that in DK, but I don't know. But I don't think so. I think it'll be nice to have. I mean, maybe they could label. I don't know. I don't see that leaving Smash Bros. I could see it, but I don't see it. Just because it's just something particular like that. Like when in the trailer for it, we saw Diddy and DK, but it just seems something like it's just a hazard. It's just something very Smash-esque. So I'm with that. But aside from that, I don't have too much to say about online because I didn't go online. But really, I think Smash is just a beautiful game. I do think it's the best one in the series. Smash Ultimate, I do. I really do. The roster's at its best. All the characters are A1. Again, the differences between weight classes and hitboxes and such, I think they're all incredible. I still have a lot more to do, so I don't know how...
Nope, and he cuts off. So why don't we just go ahead and take the next part of this call, since I feel like he's in mid-thought here. So,
okay.
All right,
last one. Fuck it, last one. Yeah, Smash again. Yeah, I do think Smash Ultimate is the best one of the series. I do have an affinity for Brawl, though, because it was my entrance. I did play Melee, but Brawl was like the first one that I bought, and then that really introduced me into the series. So no matter what people say, I will always have a soft spot for it. So I always look back at Brawl for the differences, and just to know that for all my mains, to know that this evolution that they went through, people give Smash 4 a lot of shit, and I think they always forget that it's called, not every game in a series, or not everything in any series, movies, games, TV, books, will be good. And even then, like, if we did, like, I feel like the up from Brawl to Smash 4 was needed so we can get Smash Ultimate. I think, I'm sorry, bro, I forgot your name again. You said that before, and I know Hyle, you said that before. But I feel like Smash 4 was needed, as terrible as much shit as people give it. I feel like it was needed to get to Smash Ultimate. Because when Smash 4 came out, I saw a bunch of shit that Sakurai took from Project M, and he put in Smash 4. One of them in particular was one of Sonic's moves. I forgot which one. The Vortex Spin. One of them. But that's what I feel, man. That's what we had to do to get to here. And so I'm grateful. I am. I don't want to sound ungrateful because Dixie's in it now. I don't want to sound like that, man. Just, it was the first thing I thought of. Yeah, I've had a little more time to sit with it. And honestly, I don't have a reason to go back to Brawl except for nostalgia. I damn well don't have a reason to go back to Smash 4. Smash Wii U anyway. Smash 3DS we'll talk about. But I definitely don't have a reason to go back. So, yeah, man. Those bananas. I do think World of Light, maybe a few more cutscenes, but other than that, I love the shit out of World of Light. Boss battles and everything. I fought Giga Bowser. I fought Ganon. I think World of Light's fire. And I can play his own character while watching him run around the screen. Classic mode's fire. All that. Oh, I'm about to time out. Anyway, guys, keep doing what you're doing. Smash out. Love you guys.
Thanks, Smash.
I think Smash has even more to say, but I do want to address the point of needing Smash 4 to get to where we are today.
Yeah.
That's a very mature perspective to have. And, I've made no bones about it. I very much enjoy the ABC television drama Lost, and I enjoy, despite what the haters now say about it, I think it is a phenomenal show from start to end. And one of my favorite lines of dialogue from that show was in the 5th season, when naturally they were time traveling back and forth across their time on the island, and the character of Locke sees from the distance himself in the past going through a breakdown in season 1, and Sawyer's like, why don't you just go up to yourself and let you know it's going to be okay? And Locke says, because I needed that pain to get to where I am today. And that line stuck with me as kind of like a principle
that is a good line.
Of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we are, if nothing else, the culmination of everything that's happened to us in the past. It's why when people say, well, let's go back in time and kill Hitler, I'm like, well, wait a second. Hitler was a bad dude, but we you kill Hitler, there's just going to be another Hitler because we never had the experience of having a Hitler. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to compare Smash 4 to Hitler. I realize that's what it sounded like I was doing there. That I was going full Godwin here and saying Smash 4 is as bad as Adolf Hitler. And Mitchell, I'm not saying that. I'm not a crazy man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never know really what you're saying, Hyle. But I agree with Smash's point. I think it's well said. It's been a decade since Brawl came out, a full 10 years. And in that 10 years, so many things have happened. The Melee tournament scene has grown to be a really, really powerful unit that can actually ask for things and get them. And Project M has come out and given a fan perspective on what Smash could be. And the Smash Brothers documentary has popularized this grassroots version of it. Meanwhile, the development of Ultimate really didn't start with the development of Ultimate. The development of Ultimate started in early 2012 with the development of 3DS that then also incorporated a Wii U game. So that's like 3 games of development into what Smash Ultimate is, if you consider that all one continuous thing. And I think I do. Like, Brawl felt like a very set, this is one big Smash game. And then everything into Ultimate kind of felt like, what's going on here? I maintain I like Wii U more than Brawl, I think, but it did feel less whole than Brawl in a way, and it all pushed to where Ultimate is, and to finally be at where I'm pretty sure is the end of that train, a decade after Brawl, it is pretty great. Also, I agree with Smash, really, that I don't think the banana gun is going to show up in a DKC game. I was kind of just seeing how that sentence would fly out of my mouth when I said it last episode.
Yeah, I think there are definitely elements of Smash Brothers that work their way back into the main games. I think by virtue of the banana gun not being a part of a character's moveset, but rather an item, it's not going to find its way back into the Donkey Kong series. Really, like, what I think is going to is a lot of how K. Rool is portrayed here.
Yeah, definitely.
Granted, K. Rool is portrayed based on the games themselves, so it's kind of an Ouroboros, but I think you're going to see when K. Rool does return in the Donkey Kong series, which will be the next Donkey Kong game, mark my words, you're going to see maybe a lot more of this kind of standardized thing where K. Rool is the king, but he's still going to use his pirate blunderbuss. He's going to, you're going to see more of that cross-pollination.
You're totally right. Yeah. Like, the Smash version of K. Rool takes from all these different phases K. Rool has gone through, from being a boxer to a king to a pirate to a scientist, and when we see him again, he'll just be all of those things at once because of how Smash did it.
Right, because K. Rool, this is how people know K. Rool. This is how the majority of fans of Smash Brothers, not just the Donkey Kong series, this is how they now know K. Rool, and it's going to be unacceptable to them if K. Rool appears less than he does in Smash.
Ooh, Hyle, check this out. The next, this is a Mitchell Wolfe style prediction right now. You're getting one hot off the presses. The next DKC game will have playable K. Rool. He won't be a boss. He will be a playable character throughout the game. An option instead of Donkey Kong.
We'll see. I remember that was a prediction I had for Tropical Freeze before we knew Cranky Kong was going to be the 4th playable Kong. My prediction was it was going to be K. Rool dressed up as a Kong. And that did not come to pass, obviously, but I could see a playable K. Rool in some form or fashion. My only concern with that is the second you have K. Rool as a playable protagonist, you immediately nerf his potency as a villain. So,
I think that's true. Yeah.
So I think what we're going to see, though, if it's not a playable K. Rool, it's going to definitely be K. Rool with a lot bigger role in the game itself. It's not just going to be K. Rool appears in the opening cinematic, you fight K. Rool at the end. I think K. Rool will definitely have more of a physical presence throughout the game, similar to Donkey Kong 64, where even if it's just cutscenes, to have K. Rool constantly showing up and getting screen time, I think they'll make that effort because K. Rool is money now.
Well, we went off script a little bit. Should we go back into Smash's calls?
Yeah, I think Smash the Man, not the game. I think Smash the Man has about a minute 33 and maybe 98 seconds or so more discussion to get off his chest. So let's let him have this indulgence.
Yo, I'm sorry, guys. I had to call like a fifth, fourth, whatever the fuck time. I really don't understand the gravity of K. Rool being in this game. Because I'm playing Smashing right now. And I got Dr. Mario right here smashing the shit out of him, and I freeze framed it, and I just see how we really don't give it doesn't matter how much praise we give Sakurai. We can never be grateful enough. It'll never be enough. His fucking reactions. He's got this mouth hanging wide open, eye ready to come out of his socket. Jesus fuck. You can't get more cartoony in a cartoon video game that also has you being a little bit serious, just enough. The expression that a lot of these characters share. DK grits his teeth all the time. Max sweats. Pichu faints. It's ridiculous. That's all coming. Because I just don't understand. I don't know enough. That's it. I just don't know enough. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's bananas. It really is wild. It's beautiful, to say the least.
Thank you for the calls, Smash. He's starting to sound like a magazine or website journalist trying to lead into a review of a new Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
And what he's using. It's bananas. It's more fun than a barrel full of monkeys.
The phrase we used was strong, wild garbage, but, yeah. No, he's all of those things.
Yeah.
It's great.
We haven't talked much about this point, and it's something that I notice every time I play it, and I'm glad Smash brought it up to remind me. The expressions the characters make when you fucking smash them. It's delightful. I love the physical pain you can see in their face. It's the most hilarious form of cartoony violence and I just love freeze framing, like, say, Mario looking like he's gotten his testicles slammed up. It's terrific to see these beloved icons go through so much physical torment, and those are the magic moments, Mitchell, when I'm playing this game, and I'm realizing I've perhaps forever maimed a cherished icon. So much so that they will only be able to engage in the 59 position rather than the 69 position.
Yeah, some of these characters have
life.
really great faces. It's really good. Like K. Rool and Donkey Kong have specifically great ones where their eyes bug out and they have really cartoonish aspects to them. But it's everyone. Like Charizard, it looks like you just peed in his cereal. He hates it so much when you hit him. Like...
Well, Charizard would really hate that because he's a fire-based Pokemon, and water
and
is
he
his
would only
natural
have dry
weakness.
cereal, yeah.
Right, yeah. No, you pee on it. I mean, honestly, pouring milk on it would accomplish the same feat, but sure, pee on it.
Well, thank you for all of those calls, Smash.
Thank you. Yeah,
They've been
thank
great.
you, Smash. Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying the game so much, and no hard feelings about the Dixie call. We understand completely.
Yeah. I was playing it up a little bit for comedic effect last time when all three of the people who called in were all talking about Dixie Kong.
Yeah, it was just a weird kind of... I don't know, like eclipse moment where like everything just like fell in sync with one another. It's perfectly without our knowledge, and it was just astonishing that every single call was about Dixie Kong, and what we thought was going to be a very celebratory episode. But
yeah,
all right. So let's take another caller. I believe this is Andre who called in, if the live stream chat is any indication. So let's hear what he has to say.
Hello, Kongversation. This is Andre, and I have to say, fitting my thoughts into 3 minutes for these calls often proves a challenge for me, but having to do so for so expansive a topic as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate kind of has me feeling like I'm trapped in a world of plight. Anyway, not to start off the call with a world of spite, but in your guys' episode on the final Smash Bros. Direct, Hyle, you made a flippant little comment on Kirby being the only one to survive Galeem at the beginning because of Sakurai bias. And can I just say, the Kirby series is how Sakurai refined his design philosophy of games being designed around rewarding dedicated players for their skill without intruding at all upon any casual players' experiences that now forms the backbone of so much Nintendo design. Sakurai's experience directing Kirby Superstar in particular, with its direction-based like attack control scheme and diverse smattering of sub-modes, is the only reason Smash Bros. Itself even exists. That Kirby himself, as he exists in Smash, is not only the living embodiment of the design philosophy that has shaped the franchise every step of the way by being the perfect blank slate of a character with which to start off your adventure, but is also probably the most powerful out of all the roster in canon. It makes sense. The injection of, the thing from Kirby Superstar I won't spoil at the end of the area where you find K. Rool is literally perfect. And if either of you say a single bad thing about the Kirby elements in this game, I'll track you down and make you the blunder the flashlight! Anyway,
Hyle.
something you guys actually touched upon last episode is the lack of trophy-like descriptions for the spirits. And after just around 100 hours total playing the game of the week since release, I have to say that's actually my number one complaint, not only about the entire spirits mode, but also about the game as a whole, which is, kind of a self-explanatory testament to the sheer strength of the game, that I don't have any more severe complaints than that, sure, but it's one that really sticks out. And not just because I'm the naturally curious sort who would welcome the opportunity to learn about all these colorful characters and franchises the way, Melee's trophies were so great at getting you to do, but because all the spirit battles I did, get the joke of, because I was familiar with the character being represented, those battles were always so enriched as a direct result that even just a one-sentence blurb for each spirit, just so I had something to go on, would have gone a really long way. But again, this is a complaint born of the desire to, more easily appreciate the brilliance I already know is in the game already, and I just lack the knowledge on various franchises to do it properly. But when you stack up everything this game's take on adventure mode does well against the areas where it falls short, it's basically a whole world of right. Anyway, I'm running up against the time limit, so I'll be right back.
Whoa. That was the first time I've ever seen anyone actually call the end of the call. Like, they ran up right
Mitchell.
on 3 minutes.
You know what that's like? It's like when you're pumping gas and you're able to stop the pump right at, say, $20.
Yeah, that's good.
Apologies to anybody in New Jersey who's listening to this who has no idea what we're talking about. No, but when you're pumping your own gas and you can either do it incrementally to hit right on a dollar amount if you want to hit an even amount of money, or you just let go. And it's very hard to just let go and hit right on an even amount that's actually in a denomination that is rounded at 00 at the end. So that's exactly what that's like. That's a perfect pump, as Jerry Seinfeld would say. Congratulations, Andre.
Yeah,
I still stand by what I said though about Kirby. I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. I think it's charming in a way, but yeah. Sakurai had Kirby be who you start as because he wants you to play as Kirby. He wants to force everybody to play as Kirby at first, but it works for Smash Brothers. When you factor in Sakurai being You could say Galeem is a stand-in for Sakurai. You could get very meta with it if you wanted. And
I would advise you to play until the end of the game before making comparisons to what Galeem is, because it gets a little more wild than that. But all I'll say about Kirby and Kirby's role in World of Light is that I don't know if I actually think it's Sakurai bias or not. I think probably. Like, I don't know how many other people would have decided, okay, a Nintendo crossover game? Well, the first character isn't Mario?
Yeah.
Okay. But, at the same time, Kirby is the easiest character to play as in the game. And that is for a good reason. It represents the game he comes from. And what Andre said about Superstar Saga is also correct. It is the precursor to Smash Bros. Like, it has move sets with special and physical moves in them, I think, like the same way that Smash Bros. Has. So yeah, I get it. So you want to start with the easiest character. That said, the idea that it had to be him because he's canonically the most powerful is like, okay, but Sakurai made the thing. Sakurai made the challenge that he needed to surpass.
Sure.
He could have said Galeem was going to kill anyone who didn't eat all of the garlic, and then Wario would be the first. Like, it's whatever challenge he wanted to put in the game is what's in the game. It's not like it had to be Kirby because no, he just chose it to be Kirby. Obviously.
Look, if Classic Rare made the game, it would be Diddy Kong, and like I find it cute at this state. Like, it's not like it's an actual thing to have an issue with. It doesn't even matter because you literally have to play as Kirby just for maybe 5 minutes until you unlock Mario. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. It's just kind of a worthy of a chuckle, and then you move on.
Yeah, it's also like there's nothing so much in this game that really over-represents Kirby. He's got a good amount of stages. He's got a good amount of characters. It's not too much or too little, I think. So it's not hard for me to say, okay, yeah, Kirby. If it was like Marth, then I would say, well, that's dumb. It's dumb that Marth is the first character in this game. Fire Emblem is not as important as Nintendo clearly thinks it is. Or
if this was Smash 4... and it was Pit, because Smash 4 definitely felt like Kid Icarus was definitely getting overrepresented for what it was. And that was down to the Sakurai connection. So, you know, but Kirby is a more of an innocent choice, and more of a choice that's easy to get on board with. And why are we even having this discussion? It doesn't matter, really.
Especially when we have another part of the call to go to, right?
Right,
Is there anything else he said in that part?
I can't remember. He's in the live stream chat. We could just ask him, but we could just take this other call and then circle back once he
let's do
us.
that.
All right.
Hey there, it's Andre again. Sorry, I really did try to keep things short enough that it would just all fit into one call, but that didn't happen. Don't worry, as far as going over the 3-minute limit with the second call is concerned, this will be a world of slight. So anyway, following on from where I left off, speaking of doing things right, can we talk about that ending? But not in any specific terms, they'll spoil it, don't worry, but Jesus. One of the aspects of Smash Brothers that's always kept me coming back to the series, even back when the bare bones N64 original was the only one I had any actual familiarity with, is that even back in that one, the whole context of all these fantastical battles being framed as a child playing with their toys, it's always made Smash Brothers Sakurai's big treatise on creativity and artistic appreciation, even when the very notion may seem absurd. And looking at Subspace Emissary in particular, it's been a theme that's been fleshed out and taken in new directions with every new installment. The entire concept of spirit battles is already one big riff on this phenomenon of people basically using Smash Brothers to play make-believe, even as adults, people who don't play with toys or anything anymore, living out that same sort of conceit, even regards to characters and franchises that aren't in the game, and hence you have phenomena like Ridley fans disappointed that he didn't make it into Smash 4. steadfastly settling for playing the purple Charizard, or the inclusion of Mii costumes, so that fans of as many characters as possible can at least eke some gratification out of more easily being able to pretend their guy is playable. So, when that whole ending sequence happened, the events depicted and all the lofty metafictional implications thereof and their interplay with all the history behind all the franchises represented in the Smash Bros. Franchise itself and video games as a whole and storytelling as a whole. Especially when you compare it to other fighting game story modes, it's definitely not a world of tripe. Even though it's got less narrative backing it up, even taking all the subtext into account, I would put the ending sequence up there on the level of something like Undertale. That's not a comparison I draw lightly. I didn't complete either part of the ending sequence my first time through, so it took me a good while. But even through all of it, my heart was pounding and I was breathing heavily the whole time. And even minutes after the credits finished, I was trembling all over, like how it feels when your leg is asleep, but all over my whole body. Instantly became one of those video game moments I knew I'd never forget. I'm not exaggerating when I say that even if there was nothing to Smash Ultimate but World of Light, it would still be worth the full $60 and be my game of the year. Although, now that I think about it,
Oh, he got cut off. And I think I know where he was going with that, but maybe he called in again and I can scrounge up that last call before the end. But anyway... thank you for keeping the ending super vague, Andre. I appreciate it. I will talk about the ending eventually, next season. But for now, I'm glad that I really don't know where it's coming. But you said Jesus, so I assume that the Christian Messiah does factor into the ending. And I'm going to be disappointed when capital He, doesn't. So that'll be cool, because I've always wanted Jesus and Donkey Kong to have a discussion about who's the best, and oh no you are, oh no you are, and that. But speaking of imagination and playing with action figures, I'm glad you came to the same conclusion with World of Light that actually Mitchell and I did, about how so much of it is basically just the power of imagination and playing with toys, and like. That is where the joy of it is derived from. And I've never gotten on board with the whole let's pretend that these characters that we love that didn't get into a Smash Brothers game, let's pretend that they're in it with this Mii or this different colored character. But more power to those people if they got through the Smash 4 era like that. And at the very least, Ultimate does give you a little bit of a metatextual leg up on that by having the spirits and having an explanation for them and saying, okay, yeah, this could very well be the spirit of Dixie and Kiddy Kong possessing this character here. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything you'd like to add there?
Well, I'm really excited about how much Just Andre got out of the ending, because I didn't think the ending was particularly impactful, at least for me. So hearing that he's comparing it to like Undertale, which I also don't take that comparison lightly, it confuses me a little bit, but also gets me really excited that there's like other interpretations of what it means and how it works, and what the ending of World of Light is supposed to signify. I mean, I understand, I think, what it means, but like how important it is to me and versus other players is clearly going to vary, and I'm glad other people didn't kind of feel the way I did, which was just a little about the ending. My favorite parts of World of Light are that first intro and then just all of the middle, which is all of the game.
You're really inspiring me to complete it now, Mitchell.
Well, every part, like until the ending, is fantastic. So it's just that Andre one little hop.
just said the ending was this life-altering experience.
And he's telling me in the chat, I don't get it, man, with like 5 A's in man.
Well, you know what? I do the same thing. I do the same thing with people about the Lost ending. You just don't understand it, man, because you weren't paying attention. So, you know what? Maybe I'll love it. Maybe this could be my new Lost ending, and I get to lord that over people for the next 10 years. I look forward to it.
Okay. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not much to me. But yeah. Okay. Let's. I think that was what we can get out of that call. It was a good call, a good set of calls. Thank you, Karate Joe, Smash, and Just Andre. Those were all really good calls.
And apologies to anybody who called in while we were doing the episode, because I saw some calls pour in. Unfortunately, we don't have time to get to your calls because I haven't even pulled them up. But maybe we can save those for a future call sack episode. So anyway, final thoughts here, Mitchell. And final is a wrong term to use because we are going to be discussing Smash Ultimate for the next year, and I have a feeling for years to come. I think this is going to be an evergreen game. I really do. When we look at the games that really matter to what DK Vine discusses, what the Kongversation discusses, I think Smash Ultimate will be right up there with the cream of the crop. This is the Smash Brothers I've been wanting since Melee. And
yeah, same.
I can't believe I actually got it, because I honestly, you heard me. You've heard my rants these last couple of years. I gave up on Smash Brothers. I was done with it. I fully made peace with the notion that I was not going to like this game, that Smash's best days were in the past, and that I just had to let go of this notion of a perfect Smash Brothers that would please me, that would please so many people out there, that would be the be-all, end-all of Smash Brothers. I gave up on that. And it really is, like they say, you know, when you're alone and desperate to be in a relationship, or you really want that nice job, it's basically when you finally make peace with not having it, that's when it's going to happen for you. And that actually has held true for everything in my life, including now the perfect Smash Brothers.
I think in the gaming community, we get too attached to patterns of one. Like if we were to judge what this Smash Brothers game is going to be based off of, like the Nintendo 64 game alone, we would assume, okay, it's going to be like an incredibly content-light party game, not really designed to do anything professionally or like, not professionally, the word I'd competitively, not really designed to do anything super in-depth, kind of a small budget game. And then if you said, okay, Melee, well that's, it has like a very small amount of single-player content, but a really good, multiplayer mode. And then if you look at Brawl, it's the exact opposite. And then if you look at Smash 4, it's the exact opposite. And if you look at Ultimate, it's the exact opposite of what we've like gotten out of previous games. So I think I was subject to this too. I remember like getting apprehensive about, okay, they're going to show Rex and Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at E3 with you when we were watching it, and I was just kind of picturing that this one would just be like 3DS and Wii U, which in retrospect I shouldn't. We shouldn't get too obsessed with patterns of one, you know. Yeah.
Well, especially with Smash Brothers, because Smash Brothers has always kept us on our toes, for better or for worse, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I would be perfectly happy if this was it. And I know that's stupid, and that's not ever going to happen. Smash Brothers is going to be the perennial cash cow for every system Nintendo has until the heat death of the universe. So, we're going to have more Smash Brothers. It's inevitable. But in this brief moment in time, I'm perfectly content thinking of this as the grand finale of Smash Brothers. And then whatever the future may hold, you know, whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to let that diminish my enjoyment of the here and now. Right now, we have finally gotten the Smash Brothers game I've always wanted. So I'm just going to enjoy it and I'm not going to worry about what the future may bring. But we have to worry about what the future may bring, Mitchell, because the future, it's going to bring 4 DLC fighters. We have no earthly clue who they may be, or do we?
Or do we?
It's time to go back to that first call that Karate Joe so helpfully chimed in with, and talk about what some data miners have found in the game, and what that could suggest as far as DK Vine's interests go. Now, this is all speculative. Let's just say that now. Like, we don't know, but...
Yeah.
Mitchell, do you just want to rip the Band-Aid off? Because I feel like most people know who are listening to this, but I feel like I need you to say it because I'm just too apprehensive about actually saying these words out loud.
So there are going to be 6 total DLC fighters. One of them is a free thing that you get for free if you buy the game within the first couple months. And the other 5 are part of a thing called the Fighter Ballot. Or Fighter Pass.
No ballot.
Got my stuff all mixed up for a second. The free gift is Piranha Plant, and that's kind of always just supposed to have been a little jokey, fun, haha thing. And the fact that it's being developed so early, because apparently Sakurai just came out and he said, we haven't even gotten Joker to a playable state yet. So the fact that Piranha Plant was able to be shown in gameplay a month before the game came out makes it seem to me like Piranha Plant's just kind of... It might have even supposed to have been in the base game as just your own little WTF-style fighter. So, let's talk about the other 5, though. Joker is a weird choice, and when Reggie came up to the Game Awards, he said... The Game Awards stand to talk to Jeff Keighley, he said that all of the characters are going to be big surprises. Things that maybe people thought weren't possible. Joker fits that very well. And a character that we like as well fits very well. And that is boosted by the fact that Karate Joe told us to be careful about. The fact is, in the data mine of the game, especially the launch version of the game, I don't know if this was taken out in a patch. There's a list of series that spirits can be from. So like it said, Super Mario series, Mario Party series, Legend of Zelda series, that kind of thing. And 2 of the series did not actually have spirits attached to them. They were Star Twins and Blast Dozer, which are the Japanese names for Jet Force Gemini and Blast Core. Those are rare series. Hyle. Those are owned fully by Microsoft.
Owned fully by Microsoft, right. And there would be no reason for those to be in there if there wasn't something in the works. And no, this does not mean that Juno and Vela or Lupus are going to be DLC fighters. That would be nonsense. That would be hot, rancid nonsense.
They've already started adding new spirits to the game after release. After release, if you have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee save data, kind of like how Melee did it with Pikmin save data,
right,
you would get a spirit of the partner Pikachu or the partner Eevee. And now, this coming week, actually in only 2-3 hours for me, they're going to start doling out spirits based on Super Mario Party. So it looks like, I would be very surprised if this didn't happen, spirits attached to each of the fighters that are going to be doled out as DLC will be added to the game in post. So, what if, here's the reigning theory, Banjo-Kazooie is going to be a spirit character, DLC character.
Right.
And with him and her,
with them,
with the plurals, will come an entire suite of rare spirits, which they probably already started working on, but scrubbed from the game, except maybe they didn't scrub them well enough from the game. Mm-hmm. That is the idea. Soon we will get Jet Force Gemini and Blast Core spirits, in addition to probably Battletoads and Conquer and Perfect Dark, and also just other Banjo-Kazooie spirits.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing would be great. We will get those spirits when Banjo-Kazooie is available for DLC. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the conspiracy theory.
It's not even like a bad conspiracy theory. That would be like saying, well, that's a conspiracy theory when you've like caught the second shooter on the grassy knoll under a net.
Yeah,
you know, it's there's so much evidence just based on this one little snafu in the data. The only thing that could go wrong here is if maybe there were talks and a deal was almost made, but it fell through at the last minute, and they had to scrub everything, and that's why those things existed. Why references to Jet Force Gemini and Blast Corps existed. But I don't think that's the case, Mitchell. That doesn't seem likely to me. And nope. You know, Karate Joe said, "Well, be careful because Rhythm Heaven is a bit different in this case because these are outside companies talking to one another. This isn't all within Nintendo itself. So,
yeah. These two specifically. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hyle, but Nintendo never even published those two.
I know they didn't publish Jet Force. Blast Corps, I do believe they published.
Okay, they might have for Blast Corps, but Jet Force, like no part of Jet Force should be in that game at all.
No, absolutely not. And they're weird choices anyway. Like, okay, even if Banjo-Kazooie were coming, Blast Corps and Jet Force Gemini, like, yeah, obviously Rare fans know about them. Most of the Nintendo fans would have forgotten about them at this point, and that says to me a whole shit ton of Rare content is on its way.
Yeah,
and the only way that would be possible is if Banjo-Kazooie were going to be DLC fighters. Everybody wants them. They must have gotten pretty high up on the ballot. Phil Spencer is on record as wanting it. We were taken in with a Grinch leak, but this feels different because this is not made up nonsense. There's evidence to be had here.
They totally go hand in hand with what Reggie was saying about how these are going to be characters that would, for whatever reason, seem impossible or seem like they just couldn't happen in any other context other than Smash. It's owned by a competing console. So that's Banjo-Kazooie, man. Like every part of this, we talked about it at E3 on the E3 episode of the Kongversation. We talked about how this feels like the time. This feels like the time more than anything else has ever felt like the time.
It feels like it just something in the air. It just feels like it's going to happen.
Something in the data.
Take me home, country roads, Mitchell.
Yeah.
Take me home, country roads. This would also mean, of course, a Banjo-Kazooie stage.
It would. Yeah.
And that just seems so far beyond anything I could have ever hoped and dreamed for. Like Banjo-Kazooie in the game, maybe.
Well, I wouldn't have expected a third-party character without a stage, but yeah, like just the idea of seeing that is so exciting. I wonder if it's got to be Spiral Mountain, right? That's the most iconic location.
I would hope it's just one location and it's not just one of those awful stages that just cycle through a bunch of environments. Like those are the pits.
Yeah, I don't like them. But you can make them not cycle through anything if you do hazardless, and then it'll just give you one of them.
I know, but I don't know. I don't like. I just want a no nonsense stage, no frills that represents the most iconic part of the series, and that would be Spiral Mountain. And oh my God, Mitchell, could you imagine having K. Rool run around Spiral Mountain, have Donkey and Diddy Kong teaming up with Banjo-Kazooie, fighting? I mean, oh my god!
Yeah,
like that's
it's a thing. It's a thing to think about.
It could happen, and we are raising our expectations. If it doesn't happen, Karate Joe might be right here. Karate Joe might be warning us of the pitfalls of I said Pit twice now, but neither one in reference to the actual character from Kid Icarus. He could be warning us, though, that, we're setting up expectations, and then it's going to be a sucker punch when it doesn't come true, and then we're going to be like, Sakurai! And we're going to say Smash Ultimate is trash. But I don't think that's going to happen. And
the thing is, it's just that there's 4 characters that are not yet announced, other than Piranha Plant and Joker, right? There's 4 more.
Right.
So if it was like the case where there's like 5-ish characters that I could think, well, this one could be one of the 4, or this one could be one of the 4, then I would be more incentivized to keep my expectations low about Banjo. But as it is right now, Banjo and then like one other character I have in mind, Erdrick from Dragon Quest. Those are the only 2 characters I really feel strongly about right now. I can't think of anything else with that much clout, with that much probability to be in the game. Like, I just can't. I can't. There's nothing that's really coming to mind as like a front runner other than those 2. So, I mean, you can say don't get excited about the data in the game, but even outside of that, it's just like, if not Banjo, who? Like, at this point, I really think there's just so few things that we've gotten down to. So Banjo-Kazooie, I think, I mean, even if we didn't have the data mine, I would say I would be vouching for Banjo-Kazooie. At this point, at this stage. Leisure Suit Larry. Yeah.
Custer from Custer's Revenge.
Okay.
These are the only characters I know outside of the DKU.
Mm-hmm. Oregon from the Oregon Trail.
That's right. The state of Oregon, or the Oregon Territory. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe just the Dysteria or whatever you could catch in the game.
Dysentery?
Dysentery, that's it. Yeah. I don't know my disease. I don't know my old-time prairie diseases, Mitchell, all right? I'm not Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. I don't know these things.
You've had dysentery.
Oh, yeah.
The average person definitely has. It's not a rare disease, but in general,
no, obviously it's not a rare disease. Otherwise, I would know it if it was a rare, limited disease.
I think Banjo-Kazooie is going to be in the game. I thought that for a while. I've got nothing but more reason to think that. So
the Blast Corps and Jet Force Gemini shit, just like that's too. That's too out there. That's too wild. Like, this goes beyond anything evidence-wise that we've ever had that would point towards this. So, yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if they did not get in the game. And then that would be the great mystery of Smash Brothers in the future, is why this data existed for spirits from fucking Jet Force Gemini and Blast Corps if there was no reason for it. So
yeah, I would say okay. If I'm just gonna pull out 4 names.
Okay,
I feel like I already predicted these, and it's just a completely different list now. I'm just gonna pull out 4 names that I am feeling right now. Erdrick from Dragon Quest. Banjo-Kazooie from Banjo-Tooie. Crash Bandicoot, I'll say it. He feels as good as anything else. He feels as good as anything else. And for the last one, Monster Hunter? You know what? I'm just going to say it. Crash Bandicoot, Monster Hunter, Banjo-Kazooie, Erdrick from Dragon Quest. That's the 4 I've got right now. Rayman. I'm of the opinion that spirits do deconfirm characters, and Rayman is a spirit. But I mean, I would love Rayman. That would be fantastic. I hope I'm wrong.
It's just bizarre to me that Rayman wouldn't be in the game.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Ubisoft deserves it at this point.
Like, I would say Rayman makes so much more sense than Crash Bandicoot. And I wouldn't be opposed to Crash Bandicoot. But Rayman deserves it way more than Crash Bandicoot, just based on the connections Nintendo has with Ubisoft to the Mario franchise, the shared connection with the Rabbids. It would be bizarre to me that Rayman would be overlooked. I don't know.
You're right, but at the end of the day, I think Crash is a bigger icon than Rayman, and
yeah, sure,
that might just be the only thing that will ever matter for DLC characters.
At this stage in the game, yeah, absolutely. By game, I mean life, not this game in particular. But yeah, you're right. You're right. Rayman probably his better chance would have been pre-DLC in the base game.
If we didn't see any Ubisoft spirits, I would be 100% on the Rayman train. I would assume Rayman before I assume Banjo, before I assume anything else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right. I would have assumed Rayman before K. Rool at this. It's it's just weird. I don't know. Weird oversights. Of course, I'm of the mind that like Bomberman has gotten weirdly overlooked in Smash Brothers. Like, why is he an assist trophy? Bomberman. I mean, but I'm from a generation where Bomberman was a much bigger deal than he is. He's essentially at Vector Man levels at this point with the current generation and how they view him. So
yeah, we were talking about that before, where like just to me, someone who was born in the early to mid 90s, I definitely know who Bomberman is, but Bomberman has never struck me as like the top, like the mascots of gaming, the same way that I think Crash is higher than Bomberman. I don't know.
Well,
maybe I'm wrong. Like sales numbers.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But once upon a time, Bomberman was hot shit, and all I can say is thank God we have Ted Kaczynski in the game as a spirit, because I really feel like, for those of us who enjoy random surprise bombings, it's good to have that representation, even if it's only as a spirit. So, Mitchell.
And Steve from Minecraft is another choice that exists.
Yeah, everybody brings up Steve. Yeah, I mean, if they made a deal with Microsoft, the thing is, if they made a deal with Microsoft,
if I was Nintendo, I would go for both at the same time at Microsoft. I think they are both good choices and both better than most other things that are out there right now. Especially if you're only doing third-party characters for DLC, which I guess isn't confirmed, but does kind of go like... If you said, could you believe we got the new Pokemon character? I would say, yes, I can. I can believe that. In order to make me say, could you believe that? I think it would have to be third party at this point for everything.
Yeah, my only reservation about Minecraft Steve is that I don't know. I feel like perhaps all of these fighters are going to be from separate companies or studios. I don't know why. Maybe not. But I feel like there would be a greater impact if they're all from separate studios.
Do you mean separate from like what we've already gotten as well? Because Joker is technically owned by Sega.
Yeah, I mean as far as the DLC in the fighter pack goes.
Okay. So like one Sega, one
Microsoft, and I feel like Banjo-Kazooie would be the choice just because it's what Smash fans would want more than Minecraft Steve. But I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
And who knows? Maybe we'll get the worst of both worlds, and it'll be Minecraft Steve and Banjo-Kazooie will be spirits. But I don't think so. I think Phil Spencer, he's been on record as wanting Banjo-Kazooie in the game. So I think the stars align in our favor in that regard. So
there was... If you want to talk really briefly, and I mean really briefly, because we're getting long in the tooth here, about
haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, well that's for you, Chad. If you want to talk really briefly about leaks, Vergebin, the guy who's been there the whole time, I haven't really given up on that guy. I think that what he said is legit, pretty much all of it. The only two things that he's said that haven't yet come true and are still very possible to come true in the base game, throughout DLC, are that there will be a new Square Enix character, and There are other leaks out there that predicted Joker, and like in very specific ways they predicted Joker. I think they even called that he was going to be in the Game Awards. Check me on that, though, if I'm wrong, audience. That said, the Square Enix character is Erdrick from Dragon Quest, which is why I'm thinking that. The only other thing been said outside of that, which is that there will be some Minecraft content in the game. That he did not specify a character. He did not specify anything, really, except later on, after the game came out, people were saying, well, what? There was no Minecraft content in there. What are you thinking there is now? And now he's saying, I think it's a boss, which is weird because you wouldn't really expect that to be part of the DLC cycle. So take that how you will. I don't know. I don't know what that means, really.
How would they incorporate a boss?
Well, the Elder Dragon from Minecraft is something that comes to mind as like a big monster type thing.
Okay, but where would they incorporate a boss? That's what I'm asking.
Maybe all of these characters, the Piranha Plant and the Fighter Pass 5 characters, might be added to World of Light in a new leg. Just a new secret area somewhere after they all come out. Or it's just, these 6 characters are all going to have classic modes. And each of those classic modes ends with a boss. It's usually, there's only like so many bosses that they have in the game, so they're not unique. But some of these DLC characters might end up getting that Minecraft boss as a classic mode finale. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. That's like the weirdest part of like the whole Vergeb and everything. Because everything else is totally believable. It's just like, why would a DLC boss happen? That's the one hiccup. To me, it would be weird if like it seems like the new stuff we're going to get in the game all will have to do with the DLC. So you'll get rare spirits, but that's just an extension of Banjo. And you're probably going to get Shin Megami Tensei spirits, but that's an extension of Joker. And then Dragon Quest, it will be pretty much just Dragon Quest. Even if you get Banjo in the game, it's not like... I don't know how much sense it makes to just also put in Minecraft stuff as part of that same Challenger pack or whatever. It's not like they're linked in any way other than just being owned by the same person. Right. So I don't know what that means.
Like Banjo and, say, Jet Force and Blast Corps at least makes sense. But yeah, Minecraft, it seems like it's its own thing. Even though it's owned by Microsoft, it feels like it's almost its own corporate entity just based on the fact that it's already cross-platform. It's already its own brand, separate, Mojang and everything. It's you almost overlook the fact that it's owned by Microsoft the same way you overlook that Reese's peanut butter cups are owned by Hershey. You know? Yeah. So it's a brand unto itself. So in that light, I could almost view Minecraft being another DLC fighter out of the 5.
Maybe
in addition to Banjo.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's the end of the episode, Mitchell. I don't really have anything else at the moment to say about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We are 5 hours deep into our first impressions, nearing 6 hours, I might add. So I've actually spent more time talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate than I have playing World of Light at this point.
Wow.
So I don't know. All I can say is Sakurai. I'm sorry. I feel like a shithead. I feel like the biggest cock in the world. Only a really tiny cock, because saying I'm the biggest cock in the world, it's like I'm complimenting myself in some way. No, I feel like I'm a tiny penis driving a big overcompensating truck with a gun mount on the back and the testicles hanging from the bottom, a bumper sticker says "Keep honking, I'm loading" or what have you. I feel like basically the most ridiculous piece of garbage on the road.
Strong, wild garbage.
Yeah, because I doubted you, and I said some harsh things. I said some harsh things that I'm not proud of back in 2014 and the intervening years after that. And all I can say is you proved me wrong. You proved you've still got that spark in you. you're scrappy. You're scrappy. You're a fighter. You came back, and I'm in awe of what you've accomplished here. This is exactly, I think, what I always wanted with Smash Brothers, and it seems to be pleasing the vast majority of people, which I would have said would be impossible. I don't know like how the hardcore Smash crowd, the professional tournament sceners are taking to this game. Maybe
they like it.
They like it. They actually like it.
They love it. Yeah, it's really good. It's
wow.
This is what I'm talking about. They managed to do it. That's the impressive thing about it. They really did manage to cross over on all on all regions of the Smash fandom. Like they nailed it.
And we're nearing the end of this Kongversation's sixth season. There's a little bit more to go, but this has been a year, Mitchell, where I've had to eat crow about Super Smash Brothers, where I've enjoyed the new Mario Party game, where so much good stuff has happened. We got Tropical Freeze got a second chance at life. I've poured in hundreds of hours into Sea of Thieves. There's basically been very little cynicism in this podcast this year, and this is a podcast that was built on cynicism, and
right.
And I don't really know what that means for this show and for the audience that we once cultivated. So I feel like I've got to end this episode on a sour note because I don't want to alienate our hardcore fans. So we've got one more call to take.
Actually, now that I think about it, Dixie's not playable, so actually this whole game is a world of shite.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.